Hello, Moonbeams. Hi, it's Donna here. Um, Welcome back to the podcast. It has been a while since I have done an episode, and I think in another video I'll share with you some of my learnings over the past many months. 2025 has been a really dynamic year, I think, for all of us. As many of us have been moving through this year, we've come to learn that 2025 in numerology is a 9 year, and that we were ending a 9 year cycle. One of the things that I love about astrology are the cycles, and how the cycles repeat, and that there are cycles within cycles within cycles. So much of what I have been learning and reconnecting for myself has been not just this year, but in the last, I would say, 4 years especially, is reconnecting with my own cycles within myself and within nature, within the seasons, and really just seeing cycles everywhere. And I think another word for cycles is patterns, right? And this is the way that the universe, our higher selves, our angels and guides speak to us, because it's something that we can, hopefully, if we're aware enough, take notice of when we seem to be in a cycle, when we seem to be in a pattern. And all of our experience here on earth, there are cycles everywhere. There are patterns everywhere. For women in our own bodies, we experience cycles every month, which of course is why I love the moon and following, learning about, and honoring her cycles, because we are her. And before I forget, I have updated my guide to living by the moon phases on my website, and this is free for you. You just go to the website, go to the shop, and download it for free, print it out, turn it into an art journal, just print it out and staple it together, like whatever you want. Put it up on your wall, like make a vision board of it. Whatever you want to do, tap into your own creativity. And so the guide that I created is the moon cycles that will take you through the entire month, from the new moon to the full moon. And it gives a description of each phase. And there's also, I believe I have in there question for reflection for each phase as well. And so you will download it once for free, and you will use it again and again and again every single month indefinitely, until maybe you don't even need the guide anymore, right? You just feel it intuitively, or you just follow the moon phases, um, you know, on your app or whatever it is. But this is a wonderful way to get in touch with your own self-awareness around your cycles and your patterns. That is very individual and unique for you. Okay, so that being said, I want to talk today specifically about the Sagittarius new moon, which is today, um, December 19th. And in a couple days, on Sunday, is the winter solstice here in the northern hemisphere. And these usually, well, I should say, this is the coinciding of these two events are extremely powerful, in particular this year, because of all that we have closed out, that we have culminated, ended, released in this 9 year, this end of a very big cycle. And of course, when I say big cycle, right, when I say 9 years, that's minuscule when we look at the collective cycles that are ending, the Kali Yuga, the 12,000 year cycle that is ending. So, but it's as significant nonetheless. It's not a matter of bigger or smaller or better or worse or more significant. All the cycles are significant, and they each have their own purpose in our own individual lives and on a collective level. So before we get into it, though, I want to share with you, before I started recording and I was getting into my own meditative state, I decided to pull some tarot cards for this Sag Moon and the winter solstice. And, you know, it's never ceases to amaze me how when you live a magical life, the signs and the synchronicities are overflowing and abundant. I love divination in all forms. I love the tarot. I love oracle cards. Astrology for me is very much a divination tool as well. But the first card that flipped out when I was shuffling was the World. And for those of you who know the tarot, you know the World is the last card. It is the culmination of a cycle, right? You can't make this up, guys. So the World card came out just to remind us all that, yes, we are ending a cycle, a very big cycle, and you can look to your own life, right? What have you culminated this year? What have you put to bed, put to rest? What have you graduated from? What have you ended? Or what has ended in your life, perhaps that you would not have chosen, because sometimes it does work that way as well. Let me reframe that. Not that you would have chosen from your conscious egoic self. Your personality may not have chosen it, but your higher self has chosen it. So, my philosophy, my belief is that our higher selves are guiding us in literally every moment. And they know the whole forest, or the whole path of our life well before we do. They can see it all in a glimpse, in a moment. They know everything that we have chosen. And so while we may not have chosen something to end in our life, in our human life, if we can move out of the emotional pain, rejection, abandonment, fear of uncertainty, then, and just kind of sit back, take a deep breath and say, okay, I do trust, because it is my belief that my higher self knows my path and knows what I have chosen. And this is a part of it. And I trust that, even though I might be in some emotional pain right now around this ending, I can trust that it's all for my evolution. It is all for my growth. And so when things end, the World card, it is not just an ending. It is like in isolation. The world is the ending of a cycle, the ending of a pattern, the ending of a chapter. And for those of you who have worked with me, been in my classes, you know I always say that the endings and the beginnings are like that swinging door in the restaurant, right? Where it is simultaneously open and closed at the same time. It is an ending and a beginning always in every single moment. And so when you light a match, it is the end of that state of wood, and it becomes fire. The fire is born, the fire begins, right? And so every ending is also a new beginning. And when you are ready to process the ending and look at it from a place of faith and knowing that you're ready for something new, or you will be soon, then it's much easier to move through the endings into the new beginnings. And, let's be fair, sometimes new beginnings are quite frightening as well. It's not just the ending that can be the difficult part, it's the new beginning that can feel scary. You might feel unprepared. But again, that's the ego. The ego is always rooted in fear because it wants to stay put in its little box that it has created for itself for protection. But there's no growth in a box. That's it. You're stuck in there. Okay, so after the World card, the second card that flew out was the High Priestess, which is one of my absolute favorite cards. I identify with this card, this energy. And so, first of all, I want to point out that the first two cards that flew out were major arcana cards. And so the major arcana cards are the really big energies that are telling you that this is systemic for you, right? That this is not just it's not it's a bigger energy, and it is thematic in your life. And so we have the world, and then we have the High Priestess. And the High Priestess for me is the mysteries. It is the mystic. It is the higher knowing, your higher self. She's speaking to you always. The High Priestess is the archetype of empowerment, of authenticity in your goddess energy, in connecting with the goddess, in being a human channel, an oracle. The High Priestess is that knowing that you don't even bother trying to explain to anyone else. You just know. And you are so confident in that because there's an ancient power with the High Priestess. She is a leader. The apprentice priestesses are learning from her. She sits on a throne. She sits in this card, she sits between the black and the white. And she knows that wisdom is in the center, in the gray. She has at the bottom of the card, and by the way, I'm using the, what deck am I using here? The Smith-Waite Tarot deck. So at the bottom of the card, there is a crescent moon, right? And so she is always in alignment with the cycles. Her own cycles, the moon, nature, spirit. And behind her is a tapestry with the pomegranates open, showing their fruit. And this is feminine energy. This is the womb space. This is abundance. Um, and there's a lushness there. There's a wisdom. And so when we end a cycle with the world, if you can quiet that ego enough and go into quiet contemplation, be in nature, connect with your higher self, you will be able to channel your own high priestess energy. The next card that came out, and this was really interesting because it had flipped out with a few cards, and I was like, nope, I'm only taking one. So I put them all back, but I saw it. And then when I asked for my third card, it came out again. So clearly this card wanted to be seen and to be shared. And this is a minor arcana card. It is the Two of Pentacles. And I feel that this is a person who is juggling two pentacles, one in each hand. And there is an infinity symbol connecting these two pentacles, one in each hand. And he's juggling them. And his one foot is on the ground and one foot is raised. And so there is a slightly ungrounded feeling that comes from this juggling, right? From, do I choose this? Do I choose that? But the infinity symbol that is connecting both of these pentacles, which represent the earthly realm, the choices that we have here in our human life, this path or the other, right? Which way do I want to go? In a very grounded human experience. And so we may be feeling the uncomfortableness, the ungroundedness of which choice do I make? Which path do I follow right now? But then another card flew out, and it is the most, in my view, the most beautiful, optimistic, empowering card of the deck. And that is another major arcana, the Sun. And so while we may, in our egoic self, right? Also, so the major arcana for me is the soul speaking to us. It's spirit, it's the higher knowing. The minor arcana is more of our egoic, our human mind. And so, yes, the human mind can get caught up in this or that. Which do I do? Which path do I take? The ungroundedness of that, the uncertainty that the ego does not like, right? And the Sun came out to say, just be that little naked baby riding the horse into the sun. And also remember, as we close out this year, in the Chinese astrology, this is the year of 2026 is the year of the horse. And so the Sun card came out with that naked child, the purity, the joy, the inner child, the healthy, creative, imaginative, joyful inner child is riding that horse into the sun. The sunflowers are abundant behind, and we are riding into a beautiful new beginning. 2026 is a 1 year. It's the year of the horse. For me, the year of the horse is, yes, it's forward momentum, it's power, it's empowerment. It is wildness and freedom. And it is also open-heartedness, because horses have an incredible heart coherence. They are incredibly healing to be around. And this is going to be a year where we are moving forward because we have done so much healing. And now we can, there aren't even any reins. We're talking about the wild horse, right? And we are riding bareback, just like the child in the Sun card. So this Two of Pentacles card, this choice between this and that, don't worry about it. Just put the pentacles down. Close your eyes, take some deep breaths, and just know that we're moving forward. Okay, we're moving forward. It's the year of the horse. It's all happening. The year of the snake is done. We've shed enough. We've put it down. We've released it. And the Sagittarius new moon, which I'd like to talk about now, is the fire. And by the way, the horse is the fire horse. So this Sagittarius new moon, I feel, is that match being lit. And it is an incredible expansion. Sagittarius, as a constellation, is pointing its arrow right towards the galactic center of our universe, of our solar system. This is, in many circles, considered to be source energy. It is where we receive our galactic wisdom, our vibrations, consciousness itself comes from the galactic center. And Sagittarius is pointing towards it. In previous Sagittarius videos, I have talked about The Archer, a book by Paulo Coelho, who wrote The Alchemist, which many of you know and may have read. He's written many, many books, which I think I've read all of them now, and they are each incredible and magical, and you feel as if your consciousness expands just from reading them. But The Archer that he writes about is a visual book, and it is poetic, and you can probably read it in like 1 or 2 sittings, and it is the philosophy and the wisdom and the energy and the archetype of the archer, which is Sagittarius, which is also, by the way, a centaur, right? And so when we think about the centaurs in astrology, they are the healers. Chiron is another one that we are very familiar with. Cheriklo is yet another, a feminine healing energy. And so the centaurs expand us, expand our consciousness. Sagittarius in particular is ruled by Jupiter, the great benefic in our solar system, the blessings, the good fortune, the expansion. The sun itself is similar to that Jupiter energy, just shining the light of consciousness, which the sun also represents the light of consciousness. And so again, this sun card that came out with the horse, right, with that new baby, it's such a magnificent new level of consciousness and of being that we are moving into. I just really want to stress, let go of those 2 pentacles that you're just juggling back and forth and back and forth. There are infinite number of possibilities for us. And what we want to do is we want to align with the highest path, the highest potential. But we cannot do that if we're going to stay stuck in fear. And so we need to just put down the fear. And however this is manifesting for you, just trust that that's your own unique journey to overcome the fear voice. Sagittarius wants you to expand beyond that. It's okay to be in the unknown. It's more than okay. It is the darkness. It is the womb space where all creation is birthed, which leads me into the winter solstice, which is on Sunday. Now, the winter solstice is for those of us in the northern hemisphere, and I think, at least for now, my channel, that's pretty much where who I reach right now. But you know what? I'm going to put it out there. If there are people in the southern hemisphere that catch my channel and listen, for you, this is a magnificent summer solstice. It is your brightest and longest day of sunlight. And so you want to maximize the expansiveness of consciousness that's available to you at this day. For those of us who are experiencing these energies as the winter solstice, this is the longest night, the longest amount of darkness that we will experience in the whole of the year. And so, do you fear the unknown? Do you fear the darkness? Do you fear the uncertainty, not being able to see the next steps because of the darkness? Or do you trust that the darkness must end as well? Because everything is temporary. Everything is changing in every single moment. And at the end of the darkness comes the light. So the winter solstice is a celebration of the returning light. That sun card that came out at the end, right? It's the returning light. And so the winter solstice wants you to come into your center. It is one of the 4 days of complete balance. Actually, that's not true. The equinoxes are the exact day and night, right? The solstice is the turning point. That's what I wanted to say. So every day it's been getting darker and darker. Honestly, since our summer solstice, right? It's been getting slightly darker and slightly darker every single day without you really even noticing. That's change. It's happening without you even noticing. There are realms unseen to us that are constantly in motion. Your angels and guides are always working for you, guiding you, protecting you, loving you, beaming their wisdom and knowledge to you, their guidance. And so this is all happening in the darkness, in the realms unseen. Maybe it's time we start to shift our perspective about the darkness, about the winter. Because although the winter solstice marks the returning of the light, we still have the rest of December, January, February, and much of March to get through for those of us, especially in the northeast of North America. That is our winter season. And so what is your relationship with the winter? How do you feel about it? Do you begrudge it? Do you disdain it? Do you use words like, I hate the winter, I hate the gray, I hate the dark, I hate the cold? Is it gloomy? Is it depressing for you? Because I'm gonna say it straight up right now. That's your perspective, and you can choose a different one. Because the winter, the darkness, the dark part of the year, the barren part of the year, it is part of us. It is one of the 4 seasons. So are you going to spend a quarter of the year begrudging what is? Or are you going to find the beauty in it? Are you going to bring it into an energy of acceptance and honoring what is on offer for this season? Are you going to honor the cycle of rest that winter offers us? Sagittarius new moon is asking you to expand your perspective, to learn something new. There are seeds being planted here at this new moon that will unfold over time. Remember, a new moon is the beginning of a new cycle. Planting seeds that will grow over time. You don't plant the seed and then you have the tree the same day. That is not it. That is not how it works, right? So I'm just grabbing my book because I'm going to want to end our session today by sharing with you a poem I wrote about winter, a haiku from my book, Hold the Light, Haiku to Connect with Your Highest Self, which you can get on my website, or through my website, I should say, on Amazon, if that's something that interests you. But before I get to that, I just really want to focus just for another moment that everything I've talked about here today is cyclical. There are times when we expand, Sagittarius, and there are times when we must contract, go within, make our circles smaller. And there is purpose in all of it. There's growth in all of it. We want to say, oh, well, Sagittarius is all about growth, right? And Capricorn is all about groundedness and, achieving goals. And yes, all of this is true, but it's more expansive even than that, because yes, Sagittarius is about growth, but remember, you can overdo it too. And so what I mean by that is Sagittarius is asking you to expand your consciousness at this time. And that is happening, by the way, unconsciously for all of us. There are other things that I'm going to want to discuss on this channel that go beyond just the astrology. There are prophecies that have been shared by indigenous peoples thousands of years ago. It is all happening now. The 12,000-year cycle that I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast has many names. Many people know it as the Kali Yuga because that's the Indian Eastern name for it, but there are many names for it. And there are many names for God. There are many names for the soul. And we each hold these energies within us. We are entering a time, This Sag New Moon is a spark. It is that match being lit, sparking a new fire within you. You may not feel it yet. That's okay. Remember, a match can turn into a bonfire, right? And so the new moon are the seeds being planted. The winter solstice is asking you to reflect on the year that is passing, that is ending. Go into the darkness, honor it. The crone is one of the three archetypes of the triple goddess that represents the darkness, death, the endings. And there is such magic in it. We have to stop fearing the darkness, because that is how we integrate, we actualize, and we become empowered and whole. We cannot keep cutting off parts of ourselves that we deem ugly or old. We cannot keep cutting off parts of us that aid in our growth and our expansion. We cannot keep going in a linear fashion that does not allow rest, reflection, quietness, aloneness. These are beautiful, beautiful parts of life. It's time for us to integrate. And Sagittarius is promising that when we begin to do this, we are going to expand. I have an affirmation for this new moon, which is I am forever expanding and growing. But understand that part of that expansion happens when we contract and we rest and we reboot and we allow for new seeds to be planted. So let's just remember that every part of us is beautiful. The struggle, the hard emotions. When we find ourselves repeating patterns, if you find yourself repeating a pattern, guess what? You have self-awareness. That's the sun. That's the light. That's Sagittarius, the fire. You're ready to burn up the old stuff that no longer serves you. That you know that with your expanded consciousness and with your self-awareness, that you can choose differently. So I want to leave you with my poem that I wrote. I wrote one for each season in my book, Hold the Light. All of my haiku were channeled, and they are all in their own beautiful little ways. They are those reminders from a higher perspective. So I'd like to share with you number 59, my haiku on winter. Winter's voice whispers, shh, as nature settles down. Cold winds, frozen ground. Bare branches, no running sap. Snow falls silently. If I listen to her call, flow with her rhythm, my strong beating heart will slow. my quick breath deepen. Into the cave of my mind, sitting by the lake, a mirror of my soul self, quiet reflection. My choices create my path, footprints in the snow. I forge as I go. Trusting my own inner voice, she guides me beyond. Settle down. Just be present. Lay in the clearing beneath the great evergreen. Blanket of fresh snow, rest, her offering. Sacred stillness, silence heard. Winter's voice whispers, her own sweet lullaby. I'm wishing you a beautiful Sagittarius new moon. I invite you to light the fire of your creativity. Start to see yourself as a creative being, whether you write or paint or cook or sew or jot down amazing, innovative ideas. There are a million ways to be creative, and you are a creative being. You have source within you. You are always creating. And so tap into that inner child, riding bareback on the horse into the sun, into the light of consciousness, into the joy and the love that is always on offer for you. I am sending you so much love. I will move the next slide. If you would like to work with me one-on-one, I have some new offerings on my website. I always do natal chart readings, solar return readings, and I have 2 new moon journeys that if you really want to work with Mama Moon and her cycles in your own chart, in your own life, then we can work on that together. Remember, I have that free guide to the living by the moon phases for you on my website. Please download that, print it out, and enjoy it. Connect with your own inner cycles with Mama Moon as your guide. I love you all. You are never alone. Let's move into that beautiful sun together. Bye-bye for now.